all you gossiping ghouls and goblins. Welcome back to the Mausoleum, where we spill the tea on true crime and other miscellaneous macabre. I'm Autumn,
And I'm Haley.
and this is Don't You Know? This is a trigger warning. This is an unedited true crime podcast, and we are explicit. Many episodes contain mentions of child abuse, murder, sexual abuse, domestic violence, severe neglect, animal abuse, necrophilia, bestiality, incest, suicides, and other sensitive topics. If you're squeamish, why the fuck are you here? Now, without further ado, this is the episode of
It's a miscellaneous macabre episode.
Miscellaneous Macabre episode.
Miscellaneous macabre. Legend has it, on the eve of September 11th, you can see the ghostly apparition of a young woman carrying her own head. She walks along the St. Angelo, that's what fucked me up, the St. Angelo Bridge
have an easier name.
in the midst of melancholy, condemned by Pope Clement VIII for murder.
Murder.
Count Francesco Cenci and his first wife, Ercilia Sant'Angelo, were the proud parents of two daughters, Antonia and Beatrice. Palazzo Cenci is where they called home and hell. Franny Boy was known to be a violent man, 400-year-old rumor being that Franny Fuckboy would fly into fits of fury where he would beat and rape Ercilia until her death in 1584. His children were not spared witness to the heinous behavior, nor were they shown mercy from being victims of it. After Ercilia's passing, it was time for Count Cornhole to remarry and send his daughters off to a small monastery to be refined by the nuns. A blessing, I'm sure, as what could be worse than a father like him. As Franny's reputation was Vanta Black, his abuse wasn't limited to his family. Using his wealth and status, he'd bully his way into indulging depraved desires, even confessing to molesting young boys and starving his slaves. Despite his actions being well known, I just gave myself vertigo. The nobleman was a slippery wiener. Though he would be jailed and fined several times, it was never long before he was loosed back upon the city to wreak havoc. One such intermission of abuse, Gianmarco, his eldest son, I think, disowned the family, well, Francesco, and left. Antonia petitioned the Pope to marry her without her father's consent, and it was granted. And unfortunately, two of her brothers lost their lives during a duel.
Duel.
A duel. I don't know what it was over. I don't know what the beef was, but they both ate it. So, the Cenci family was dwindled to just Beatrice, Lucrezia, his second wife, and their youngest sibling, Bernardo. And, of course, Sir Franny, fuckboy. He's not like part of the family because he's a piece of shit. Despite the whole town being aware of what was happening behind the stone walls of the castle and Beatrice's many attempts to inform authorities, Franny evaded justice for the evil enacted against his kin. He would be punished, if not held accountable, for his actions against the citizens, but what he did to his children wasn't anyone's business, apparently. If it was going to be family matters and the abuse of the family, then the justice would be held by the family. What choice did they have but to handle it themselves? And they did. No longer could they suffer at the hands of this piece of shit. Beaten and cast away for their conspiracy to involve the police, Beatrice and Lucrezia and Bernardo were sent to live at the family's other castle. If you can believe it, the abuse got worse. Without a voice and nothing left to lose, they set off to plan the perfect murder. So they thought. Or so they thought. Beatrice devised that two servants, one of which was her lover, would drug Franny so that he was easier to bludgeon with a hammer. Three siblings and their stepmother beat the brains out of the devil and threw him off the balcony to make it look like an accident. Of course, his death would become the talk of the town, everyone murmuring that if they hadn't killed him, they ought to have. The whole town knew he deserved it. However, the pigs still came sniffing. Suspicion gave way to arrest, and the Cenci family was thrown in jail along with the lover boy, Olimpio, and the other hero, Marzio. The other hero, Marzio, had fled into the mountains but was killed for his silence by a Cenci relative. Though the common folk might have agreed with the untimely demise of Count Nugget, the law did not.
Sorry. Fucking cat nuggets. That was a good one.
I like alliteration. In fact, it was only a few years before the murder of Franny that another noble glutton murdered his mother for an early inheritance. Was sentenced to death, I think, or life imprisonment. I don't know. That's a different one. But this is cited as one reason the papal authority was not lenient on the Cenci children. Pope Clement didn't want a string of impatient heirs knocking off daddy and mommy for some shiny coin in a little land. Clement VIII convicted Beatrice, Lucrezia, and Gianmarco of conspiracy and patricide, which, side note, was a real big fear in ancient Rome. Because, like, all of their mythologies is son usurping father and all of that. So they were like, no, we don't play. Everyone thought that they were fated to be the cursed protagonist of some self-fulfilling prophecy, which makes sense. Good old gilded microphone for God also seized the family's generous estate. Oh, I can't say that. People are going to get offended. Hold on. Pope also seized the family's generous estate, which is said to have influenced his decision, but who's to say? Either way, he sentenced them to death, except for Bernardo, because he was young. The Cenci children and their mother were taken to the Sant'Angelo Bridge on the morning of September 11th. Public outcry was to spare them, if not life in it. They were the public outcry was to spare them death, if not life in exile. The execution was not stayed. Beatrice and Lucrezia were beheaded with a small axe, and Gianmarco's head was smashed in with a mallet. Bernardo was spared, since he was still a child. However, he was condemned to live the rest of his life as a galley slave. So, I guess that's a silver lining. Now, 400 years later, the strong and heroic spirit of Beatrice haunts the site of her murder. And that was it.
Just a little taste.
Just a little taste,
Just
a little
a little
sip, just a little taste.
Just a little bit.
The miscellaneous macabre. I'd haunt the fuck out of that bridge too. Be like ancestors of everybody who didn't fucking step in.
This is where my bridge is. You build a different bridge and get over
it. Exactly. Actually, no. Don't build a bridge. Don't build a bridge and get over it, because I want to be a constant reminder of how you failed, children.
You can't build a bridge because my bridge is my bridge.
I'll burn your bridge.
Period. Bye.
Bye. Because legend has it, on the eve of September 11th, you can see the ghostly apparition of a young woman carrying her own head. She walks along the Sant'Angelo Bridge in the midst of the melancholy condemned by the Pope Clement. I fucking fucked it up. But that's your angel. I got self-conscious. Legend has it, on the eve of I wasn't ready for round 2. My legs are still shaking.
I do a good job. I'm thorough.
And that, my pretties, is all we have for you today. If you like that episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Word of mouth is the best advertising, and we truly appreciate the solid. If you'd like to view our resources or leave us any comments on our research and write-ups, visit don'tyouknowpod.com and visit our socials. From Facebook to Mastodon, everything is at Don't You Know Pod. Links in the show notes. Thanks for joining us, and don't forget to lock your doors.